Welcome everyone to today's webinar debriefing the Q3 market update. Before we kick off, it's worth highlighting that we typically observe large variations between quarterly M&A volumes in the consulting sector, which aren't always reflective of longer term trends in the industry. So please treat these quarterly updates as a very indicative guide to deal flow over the year. For the third quarter, deal activity was broadly flat. M&A rose by 1% year on year, and deal volumes were flat as compared with the second quarter. As we can see from the data on the right hand side of the slide, there was strong deal flow in North America. Deal activity rose 7% year on year and 6% on the second quarter. That contrasted the quarter-on-quarter declines that we saw in the Asia Pacific and in Europe, where there was also declines in deal activity in the United Kingdom. Despite continued trade tensions between the US and some parts of Asia, cross-border deal flow only fell slightly as compared with the prior quarter. So cross-border deals still remain an important component of overall M&A in the consulting sector, and accounted last year for just under 30% of all deals, which rose as a proportion of larger transactions above $10 million in size. Now, these overall trends mask large variations in deal activity amongst market segments. And despite notable deals occurring in the HR and technology services segments, as we can see from this chart, deal activity fell in both spaces, which contrasted year-on-year rises that we saw in the second quarter. In the technology services segment, big deals included Altran's acquisition of cybersecurity specialist IRM, and also HPE's acquisition of cloud technology partners. In HR, Aon's acquisition of real estate advisory firm the Townsend Group was a major deal in the space. There was a strong rise in M&A within management consulting and media services. The sale of advisory board in two separate deals was a major sector-focused management consulting deal for the quarter. The education business of the advisory board company was sold to Vista Equity Partners, and the healthcare business was sold to Optum, which is part of United Health. The Boston Consulting Group's acquisition of digital design and innovation consulting lab Maya was a major deal by one of the leading management consulting houses, and really represented an ongoing shift that we're seeing amongst management consulting firms looking to capitalize on the big opportunities for providing consulting around digital transformation initiatives for clients. Engineering deal activity rose strongly against the prior quarter, but as we can see from the chart, was broadly flat on the same quarter last year. In the space, SGS, the testing, inspection, and certification specialist, was a major acquirer over the period. Looking across all of these subsegments, the most prolific buyer for the second quarter running has been Accenture. In Q3, the business acquired 7 companies in spaces like communication strategy, creative media, asset management consulting, agile software development, cloud-based mobile, and big data and analytics. It's also worth noting that across all of these segments, private equity activity continues to remain strong, particularly at deals above $10 million to $20 million in size. APAC's acquisition of ThoughtWorks and Vista Equity Partners' acquisition of the education business of the Advisory Board Co. Were the two major financial investments over the quarter. Moving on to stock market performance, the Equitech Consulting Share Price Index achieved strong gains, rising by over 3%, and it outperformed the FTSE, but underperformed the S&P 500. As we can see from the graph, the media index declined, with major media networks like WPP, Publicis, Omnicom, IPG, and Dentsu all experiencing falling share prices. Now, these declines have come with reports of drops in digital marketing spend from some of the largest CPG companies like Unilever and Procter & Gamble. And that's led industry analysts at Nexus to report that this could lead to consolidation in the sector, similar to what we saw with Omnicom and Publicis attempting a merger in 2014. The analysts also suggested that there could be a large acquisition by one of the growing adjacent technology consulting firms like Accenture or Capgemini. As we can see from the chart, the Equitech HR share price index was the best performing segment, and there's also strong performance from the engineering services segment, really correlated with rising oil prices over the quarter. And the management consulting and technology services segments achieved more modest gains, although performance amongst constituent companies that form part of both indices varied considerably. On a final note, taking a longer term perspective, the Equitech Consulting Share Price Index continues to show record highs as investor confidence in the consulting sector remains strong. And as we can see from the chart, the index is now at a premium of almost 50% as compared with its 10-year average. Although the total number of deals over Q3 remain broadly flat, M&A is still about 10% above its average over the last 10 years. So, deal activity and share price performance is looking, pretty strong at the moment. And as we've gone to press with the Q3 market update, major deals like DXC's acquisition of Logicalis ServiceNow practice have been announced. And there was also a report in the Times of India that Cognizant and Apex Partners are amongst shortlisted suitors for a potential buyout of digital tech company Liquid Hub in a supposed $600 million buyout. And beyond those big rumored and recently completed deals, we are seeing strong momentum into the final quarter across smaller and mid-sized deals, as well as strong deal flow across our own global corporate finance business. So in brief, the third quarter saw robust deal flow, strong share price performance, and the current market conditions are favorable for sellers of sale-ready consulting business. That concludes our webinar. So please reach out to us if you have any questions or any comments on the Q3 update, and we'll look forward to responding back to you.